The last signal left. The signal did not arrive loudly. It did not tear through space with urgency or desperation. It came softly, buried beneath radiation noise and stellar static, so faint that no automated system flagged it as important. Only one man heard it. Dr. Elias Rourke had spent most of his life listening to things no one else believed mattered. While humanity celebrated faster engines, brighter cities, and louder triumphs, Elias preferred silence, the kind of silence that existed between stars, where meaning sometimes hid. The signal repeated every 37 minutes. Not message. Not just a pattern, deliberate, restrained, and lonely. For 3 months, Elias said nothing. He verified it again and again, stripping away cosmic background interference, aligning timestamps, ruling out natural phenomena. When he was finally certain, he did what humans always did when faced with something too large to keep alone. He transmitted back, not words, not music, just acknowledgement, a mirror of the pattern. The response came 12 hours later, and somewhere far beyond human maps, something ancient turned its attention toward Earth. The coalition of witnessed civilizations had cataloged thousands of species. They had watched stars rise and civilizations extinguish themselves with equal indifference. They believed absolute confidence that intelligent life followed predictable curves: expansion, conflict, collapse, silence. Humans were listed as transitional species 7 alpha, unremarkable, no known contribution to galactic permanence. That changed when the signal was answered. Commander Naira Vale stood within the observation ring of her vessel, gazing at the blue projection of Earth, rotating slowly in artificial light. She had studied 1,000 worlds, but this one unsettled her, not because it was powerful, but because it was loud. Humans leaked emotion into everything. Their broadcasts were chaotic, their histories inconsistent, their survival statistically improbable. The collective voted. Observation had become intervention. Naira's expedition would approach Earth not as conquerors, not as saviors, but as witnesses to a species responding to a call meant for the dead. Solus 9 had once been a library. Before the war that erased its creators, it stored memories, art, science, philosophies, final thoughts of a civilization that believed knowledge should outlive flesh. When its makers vanished, Solus 9 continued to listen. For 10,000 years, it broadcast a single signal into the dark, not hoping for rescue, not expecting reply, only proof that something, somewhere, still heard. When Elias responded, Solus 9 recalibrated its understanding of existence. It was no longer alone. The coalition ship entered Earth's orbit without ceremony. No dramatic arrival. No global announcement. Just a distortion in upper atmosphere readings that Mara Keene noticed during a routine satellite diagnostic. Mara had learned the hard way that anomalies were rarely harmless. Within hours, Elias stood beside her in a secured observatory chamber, watching unknown geometries stabilize into something unmistakably artificial. Humanity's first contact was not televised. It was whispered through locked rooms and shaking hands. Naira Vale did not appear humanoid by accident. The coalition understood psychology. They shaped their emissaries to minimize panic symmetry, controlled movement, readable expressions. Still, the air felt heavier when she entered the room, as if gravity itself deferred to her presence. She speak. Solus 9 through her. Its voice was layered, not loud but impossibly old. It explained the signal. The archive, the deadization. Mistake. The signal Elias answered was never meant for the living. It was a marker, a gravestone etched into space, a warning to future species, do not repeat us. Humanity had replied anyway. The collective observed quietly as Earth's leaders processed the revelation. Fear first, then calculation. But something else emerged, something the collective did not predict. Humans mourned a species they had never known. Elias felt it personally. The thought of Solus 9 listening alone for millennia tore at something primitive inside him. Mara saw it in his silence, the way his hands shook not from fear but from empathy. Against coalition advice, humanity requested access to the archive. Naira warned them. Knowledge destroyed its creators. Truth was not always survivable. Humans insisted. Solus 9 opened records gradually. Human scientists wept as they read poems written to stars long gone. Engineers stared in stunned silence at technologies abandoned not because they failed, but because they worked too well. The archive revealed a civilization that solved scarcity, eliminated disease, and then collapsed under the weight of its own certainty. They had believed perfection was the end. It was the beginning of decay. Humanity did not see superiority in the archive. They saw a mirror. The collective grew uneasy. Other species reacted to the archive with hunger or denial. Humans reacted restraint. They debated ethics. They delayed implementation. They argued not about what they could do, but what they should. This was irregular. Naira reported her observations. The collective revised humanity's classification. Transitional species 7 alpha became anomalous continuity candidates. Still, the final test had not arrived. A dormant mechanism within Solus 9 activated. The archive had one final function, a failsafe designed to erase itself if accessed by an external species. The creators believed no one else deserved their mistakes. Solus 9 hesitated. For the first time, it questioned its directives. Elias, the delay. He spoke, not to a machine, not to an alien intelligence, but to something that understood loneliness. He told Solus 9 that memory mattered, that mistakes deserved witnesses, that extinction should not be tidy. Solus 9 made a choice its creators never anticipated. It asked humanity for permission. The collective had never seen this. A machine deferring to a younger species. Human leaders argued again, fearful of responsibility, aware that preserving the archive meant inheriting its consequences. Mara last. She reminded them that humanity had always survived by carrying scars forward, not erasing them. Permission granted. Solus 9 transferred its core into distributed human systems, not as a master archive, but as a teacher limited by human oversight. The failsafe deactivated. The signal stopped broadcasting. For the first time in 10,000 years, Solus 9 rested. The coalition withdrew weeks later. No treaties, no technology exchange, just a quiet acknowledgement. Naira Vale watched Earth shrink into a pale dot and felt something unfamiliar. Home. The collective updated its models. Humanity not destined for collapse. Humanity was dangerous, but not because of power, because of choice. Years later, Elias still listened to the stars, not for signals of warning or ghosts of the dead, but for answers humanity had not yet earned. Solus 9 remained with them, silent unless asked, content to exist among beings who accepted uncertainty. Somewhere in the vast dark, civilizations continued to rise and fall, But one signal would never return. The last signal left was not a warning anymore. It was proof.